Hello.
It's like I'm hitting a whammy bar on my Guitar Hero. Yeah.
The whammy bar?
That's what the little bar thing is on those guitars.
Is that what that is?
The little sounds like that.
I was never good at Guitar Hero. I was really bad.
It would depend on the song. Also, I think I usually stayed on the medium level, so like...
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, hard was too much, because then you had to like go really, really fast, and I just couldn't keep up.
I remember when I was in 8th grade, I did Legally Blonde the musical.
Oh, fun!
And I was super antisocial.
Oh,
because of homeschooling.
That'll do it.
And there was a cast party, and they had Guitar Hero, and I was like shredding on it, like trying to do like my best, and everyone was like, "Go Logan!" And I was like, "Wow!"
You said I'm popular,
right? I was like, "Wow, this is what social like."
Wow, this is all it takes.
Yeah, this is what being social feels like. This is crazy. I should do more of this.
Because suddenly, I really like people. But yeah, I've always personally loved Guitar Hero, even though I wasn't good at it. But that's okay. I tried my best. It's okay.
That's all right. But what we are good at is doing mystery cases.
Doing little mystery cases on the Mystery File podcast. Yes.
I don't know who did it, but there was on one of our cases, I think it was the Philip Taylor Kramer case.
Okay.
Someone left a hate comment that said, "You two need to do your homework." And then I went to go look at the comment, and they deleted it. I don't know if like
we were like not kids.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or do your homework? What do you mean? We do our research.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to say, but I was like, what do you mean? The Philip Taylor Kramer episode was very well researched.
It's also quite literally like we're reading like scripts created from all this information.
Yeah.
Like, if we are doing the research. We wouldn't even have the case if we didn't have research.
That's what I was saying. I was kind of gagged by it. I was assuming that I don't know, just maybe like
they probably deleted it. Yeah, a little bit older. Probably just realized they were wrong and then deleted it.
It's true. It was really funny when I got an email of the comment. That's worse. And then I went to go look for it.
You were like, who said what? Who said what? I feel like
it's so
I don't know.
Funny.
Some people like will comment something like quickly and then realize that they were incorrect, or like they just didn't think before they said it and then they delete it. Because I feel like we've had stuff like that, like on our TikTok, where it's like, well, actually this happened, and it's like, well, if you were to watch the rest of the case, you would have realized.
Yeah, whenever we did like
little part of it. But...
Oh my god, when we did like the theory thing. Like, what was it? The well to hell, and everyone was like that. Didn't happen. I was like,
that's the point of that case.
Yeah, I know.
You have to watch till the end. You always gotta watch to the end.
Yeah, it was a little like enticing. I wasn't gonna give it up in the TikTok. By the way, it wasn't real.
Wasn't real. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode, but like, still,
it's true.
It's still fun. But yeah.
But anyways, I'm Logan LaMaster.
I'm Tiffany Walker.
And you're watching the Mystery Files podcast.
Podcast.
Your favorite mystery podcast.
We hope
of all of them.
Of every single one.
Or at least your second favorite.
Yeah.
Please, can we at least be your second favorite?
Second. We'll take second. Please. We got the mystery, we got the funny, and we've got, like, the good vibes going on.
It's true.
Man.
Last time we talked about premonitions.
It was so fun.
It was a fun case. I had so much fun with that one.
And I have had more premonitions since. I told you one that I'm not going to mention on the show. But there was another one that I'm excited to tell you about.
Oh, another one. Since I last saw you?
I didn't tell you last time I saw you because I was waiting to tell you here.
Oh, okay.
But last week on our episode when we talked about premonitions, you had asked me, have any of your students ever like told you about dreams or premonitions they've had?
Yeah.
And I said, not yet, but like I will go and ask them, right? I get to class, like the next class after the fact, and literally a student comes up to me. I didn't ask them diddly squat.
Didn't say anything.
Nothing. She says, Tiffany, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? She's like, I had a dream. I was like,
A dream?
I was like, girl, what kind of dream? She said that she had this dream where in her dream, someone told her to wake up because there was a spider on her.
What?
And then she woke up, listened to what the person, or whatever the thing in her dream said, woke up, and there was quite literally a spider on her pillow.
That's crazy.
I'm like, girl, that is actually insane. But also, like, so weird that, like, she had to come up to me and tell me. This was, like, the first thing she said to me in class. She was like, Tiffany,
she, like, knew.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. That is so
weird. She knew to go to you.
She did. She was like, I've been called to tell you about my premonition that told me there was a spider on my pillow.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
I was so freaked out. And I was like, I had to tell Logan this because I was literally just talking about this.
That's crazy.
And how I had to ask. I was about to ask you guys if you had any dreams where, like, things, if you had, like, premonitions or some weird dreams. So, this girl did. And she told me, this 8-year-old. Yeah, what?
I had a dream about you today, by the way.
About what?
It's not bad, but this is a crazy story to tell on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I'm scared.
Oh
no.
So, okay. Mm-hmm. So I was fully asleep and Danny was getting up to like go do like his like work stuff because he gets up like before me sometimes, like shower and like do that stuff.
Yeah.
He came in the room and he saw me and I was sleeping and I had like the biggest smile on my face. Apparently I was smiling like really big. Like,
that's cute.
But the reason why, like, I woke up and he scared me and I was like, ah! And he was like, what? I was like, oh, I thought you were awake. And I was like, no, I was sleeping. He was like, you had the biggest smile on your face. What were you dreaming about? Tiffany, I had a dream.
Yeah.
That we had a special guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
Who was a twin. And we planned to pull a prank on you where the twin had left to go to the bathroom and the other twin came back and you had no idea.
Shady.
But you were like, oh, something seems off. And I was like, Tiffany, what do you mean? That's exactly what they look like. Like, they have always had that mole. It was...
Oh my god.
I was literally laughing so hard.
Even shady in your dreams. That's insane.
I know.
At first I thought it was going to be a JoJo Siwa bit because I'm a guest on your podcast. I was like, it's going to be JoJo Siwa.
No.
On our podcast.
I don't even know who it was. It was just some random person. And it's like we did it to stage it like for you.
Oh my god.
But that's like what's crazy. It was like I was smiling ear to ear because I was messing with you.
That's sick. Disgusting. You said, ah ha ha, nothing makes me happier.
So funny.
Than messing with you. It could have been Lexi. She's a twin.
It could have been.
And they look like almost identical.
Oh my god. Lexi, if you're listening, let's
make it happen. I mean, now I'm gonna know, but like, try it.
But when will you know? Maybe we'll have multiple guests.
It'll be like years down the road.
Years down the road,
like,
you forget
about this. Oh, that's sick. But yes, thank you for tormenting me.
Of course.
Dreams. I appreciate it. That's friendship.
But otherwise, do you want to get into this week's case?
I would love it. Do you want a little drummy roll?
Let me think. I do, actually.
You would have said no. I think we would have lost it. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
This week on the Mystery Files, we are covering the case of Lost Cities of the World, baby!
Ooh, baby. What does that mean? Like Atlantis?
Well, not Atlantis. I cut Atlantis from this because we've talked about it before.
Because we have an Atlantis case.
Which you should go check out. We have a couple of Lost City cases, I think.
Ooh,
so, I gathered together some other cases.
Fun. I love that.
Yeah,
Lost cities.
Let me make sure I credit where I found my stuff. So, I found this through rd.com. They do a lot of like different like travel stuff and like talk about different like cities and history things. So
nice.
Got most of my information from them.
Shout out.
All right. So what kid hasn't pretended to venture through the dense jungle, really their backyard, and suddenly stumble across vast ruins, untouched for centuries? It's an adventure fantasy deeply ingrained in our psyche, built on the journeys of 19th and early 20th century explorers of lost cities, hidden to the outside world. They offer valuable information about the past when they're found and studied. Usually the people who lived in such places left or died due to war or conquest, disease, economic hardship, or natural disasters like earthquakes, floods, or volcanic eruptions. Hundreds of these sites around the world are often clustered near formerly thriving civilizations, including those of the Incas, the Maya, the ancient Greeks, and the ancient Egyptians. Some legendary cities are genuinely regarded today to be fictional, but others may exist and continue to be searched for today. There remain some of the ancient mystery researchers still can't explain. Today, though, modern archaeologists recognize the importance of respecting and working with local people and utilizing local knowledge when it comes to rediscovering sites that have been there all along. As archaeologists say, It's not what you find, it's what you find out.
Ooh, okay. What a lovely intro.
Yeah, so.
Ooh, it was very visual, and I also am a fan that, like, in the intro you explained, like, how as children we would, like, pretend in our backyards we were, like, marching through these ancient civilizations. So I used
to do that. Yeah, all the time.
Yes, I'd also,
love doing Atlantis.
Atlantis, my sister and
Mermaids.
I used to play, like, this game called Down the Toilet, which I probably have talked about on this show. But it was literally, we would sit on teeter-totter, and it was called Down the Toilet, and as soon as, like, you would go down on the teeter-totter, you went down the toilet, and when you went down the toilet, you would, like, envision yourself traveling through, like, pipes.
Oh my god.
And then you would, like, go wherever, and we'd go to, like, Disney World. But,
wait,
like,
that's cool.
It was crazy, though, because...
Like teleportation.
It's, like, weird, because as children, like, Stephanie and I could, like, recall these memories of visiting these places, like, so vividly. Isn't that so weird? Like, it didn't even seem like it was fake.
I've had similar stuff like that. Like, when you're a kid, like, your imagination really can just, like, do a lot of weird things. Like, it feels like it's, like, a real, like, memory. Like, you did that.
No, for real. Like, I remember that, and I remember, like, playing, like, mermaids in Atlantis in the pool as well. And, like, I remember exactly, like, what it looked like underwater. And, like, I've talked to, like, my sister and, like, my little brother Michael. And, like, we have explained, like, what this Atlantis world in the pool looked like.
Crazy.
And it's, like, creepy. Because I'm like, what?
Maybe you were actually there.
We were hallucinating together as children? What the heck?
Maybe you were.
So, yeah.
Maybe it's real.
Maybe it's real. Maybe it's one of the lost cities. Perhaps.
Well, yeah. So we're going to go through and we're going to list through a bunch of lost cities. I found some really interesting ones. And we're going to start with number one. One we haven't covered before, Machu Picchu.
Ooh, I almost went there.
What? When?
Like, junior year of college.
Why were...
When I was
Why are you going there?
I was in that, like, club on campus, the, like...
The Machu Picchu club?
No, there was a club that, like, they would go and, like, help people, and I almost went with them, but then I didn't have money.
Oh, well...
Yeah, but I almost went... That's where they were going on their little trip, to, like, help people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I would have known the truths. Probably gone.
All right, so now you go to learn now. So this is Machu Picchu, Peru. Perhaps the most famous rediscovered city, Machu Picchu sits high in the Peruvian Andes. On July 24th, 1911, the explorer Hiram Bingham first laid eyes on the majestic site. The local people, though, had known about the ruins and actually showed Bingham the way to them. But his reports became the first time the place was made known to the world at large.
Oh, okay.
So they, like, guided him to the ruins of Machu Picchu and stuff, which I think is very interesting, that, like, this was just, like, a cool open secret, like, of, like, that area.
Also, they, like, trusted him to, like, take him there. Like, he was worth taking there in the first place, to know these secrets.
Yeah. He was quoted saying, "Suddenly I found myself confronted with the walls of ruined houses built of the finest quality of Inca stonework," he wrote in his 1948 bestseller, Lost City of the Incas. "It was hard to see them, for they were partly covered with trees and moss, the growth of centuries, but in the dense shadow hiding in bamboo thickets and tangled vines, appeared here and there walls of white granite ashlars, carefully cut and exquisitely fit together." So this is, like, very, like, it's a very well put together, like, buildings. Like, they're made out of very fine granite. Yeah.
And, like, I can imagine, like, vines, like, coming down these walls. It's so visual.
It's so cool. I think it's so interesting, like, because you'll see pictures of Machu Picchu and it's, like, in between, like, the mountains, like, it's, like, under, like, you know what I mean? It's, like, on its own little landing, but there's mountains surrounding it and stuff. It feels like its own little, like, island almost.
Is this where Emperor's New Groove takes place? Or, like, that sort of vibe?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it, I don't know if it's Machu Picchu specifically, but it is.
Like that area?
Yeah, it is Peru.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, for example, here's some pictures. Like, look, just look how, like, beautiful this is. Like,
that's so beautiful.
Just like a giant, like, mountainscape, and there's all these buildings. Like
the stonework is, like, built into the earth. Like, it feels like it's always been there.
Yeah, I think that's what's fun about some of these lost cities we're going to talk about. It feels like they've been here way before us. He said, "Dimly I began to realize that this wall and its adjoining semicircle temple over the cave were as fine as the finest stonework in the world. It fairly took my breath away. What could this place be?" Researchers now believe it was a summer retreat for the Inca elite. Even though Machu Picchu was abandoned as the Incan Empire collapsed in the 16th century, the Spanish invaders never found it. It sat largely undisturbed until Bingham's arrival.
How did they hide it? I feel like I'm just having issues visualizing why it wouldn't have been found, but like maybe like the images we see now online of this place, like I wonder if maybe it was more like overgrown and more hidden, or like
it probably was.
There weren't a ton of paths to get there because if they weren't like seeing like overhead of the space, I guess maybe they wouldn't be able to see it.
We gotta think even with like this, like these pictures, like it's like thick jungle, like it's like thick trees and things, and it's not really like completely in the noticeable areas.
Yeah,
like it's
like,
very
unless you
interesting.
were on like a different peak of a mountain somewhere, I feel like the likelihood of you knowing that existed would probably be quite low.
Even then, I could see you thinking it was like a carving of like the mountain or something.
Yeah,
like it's so interesting to me.
Aww.
Yeah, so a lot of people believe it was like a summer retreat for Inca elite people. So
wow, so like the richies.
The rich people had like a nice, beautiful like getaway like location, which is really cool to think about that they kind of had that something like that in place.
Yeah, it's like their vacation home, their summer home. Like, but it's just like a whole place to go vacationing for them.
Yeah, I think it's very like interesting, and I love that the Spanish invaders like never found it.
I know.
It's like really awesome that like we get to keep like that rich history there and get to know about it now. All right, so we're gonna move on to the second city.
Ooh.
And this is also in Peru. So this is Vilcabamba, Peru. When Bingham rediscovered Machu Picchu, he was actually looking for and believed he'd found Vilcabamba, the lost city of the Incas. That was the emperor's final refuge before being overthrown by the Spanish invaders. Ironically, expeditions after his death proved Bingham had found Vilcabamba. It wasn't Machu Picchu, though. It was another nearby site called Espiritu Pampa. The archaeologist Jean Savoy rediscovered that site in 1964.
I love the rediscovering.
Yeah.
Because it implies there was a discovery, a rediscovery, and then another discovery after the fact.
Yeah.
But like, I also like that they're calling it that because then they're not taking credit for the whole discovery. So it's kind of like how stinky Christopher Columbus man was like, I discovered it. And it's like, no, you didn't.
No, literally, yeah.
No, you didn't.
It's just like funny because like he had like met, like Gene like rediscovered like what Bingham was like trying to find. Like he kind of like messed up. I think it's almost funny how like that happens like often. Like they're like, yep, this is definitely the location I was looking for, and it's just like completely wrong. So even today, Vilcabamba hasn't even been fully excavated.
Wow.
Recent research has even discovered evidence of pre-Incan inhabitants called the Wari who lived there. Today, plans for a museum and more field research at the site are in the works. Another city Bingham rediscovered, Chocacario, which means cradle of gold, is still being uncovered from the jungle as well.
Wow. I wonder why it took them so long to like start getting more like field research at these sites. Like, do you think it's just because like the complications of like traveling through the jungle and like getting there, and then also like finding a way to safely exist there? Like,
I would say so, right? Because like it's probably like also like money and resources and things. Like you would need a whole team of people who are willing to go out there, excavate it,
figure out housing probably, and like I'm sure there would probably involve a lot of like hiking and that kind of stuff. So like, how do you safely work at that site? I don't know, and like find all.
And you also don't want to like mess with history like that. Like they probably need a lot of like very like strong technology to not like mess up like the artifacts or the things they find.
Like being so fragile to like conserve like the history that they are trying to uncover. It just reminds me so much. I'm just like picturing like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, at the beginning when they're like dusting off.
That's so funny you said that. I was thinking the same thing. Like they were just like in there.
Yes.
I think maybe I've talked about this on the show before, but I used to want to be an archaeologist. Like, you know, like when you have like your dream role when you're a kid? Archaeologist was like my first dream. I wanted to be an archaeologist.
See, I want to do stuff with that, and then also stuff with just like rocks and minerals, because I used to like correct rocks, and I would like dust off rocks and be like, this one's a hidden gem from the ancient like I'd be collect them and put them on my porch.
Did you have that rock machine that like tried to like make...
the cleaner
Yeah,
thing?
the cleaner thing?
No, I didn't.
My mom had that and it was so fun.
They seem so magical.
They're so loud though, because it's rocks being like shaken up. Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched videos of it because I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how there were people who lived there before the Incan, and it was like the Wari. I think that's interesting too.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to like just learn more about, like, it's just so interesting because like Peru just keeps having more and more like interesting things happening in it.
I feel like it also does have like this air of mystery about it because there's so much that's like left unknown to like our like modern societies.
Oh, absolutely.
So like I think it lends well to something like this because it's truly like, how did they exist? Like, what do they know that we might not know? Like, it's just interesting.
All right, we're going to move on to the third one. We're jumping over to a new place. We're going to Babylon.
Ooh.
Babylon, Iraq.
Babylon.
So, I don't think we've talked about Babylon specifically before.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have either. So, let's get into it. So, in the ancient land of Mesopotamia, this thriving and powerful city once stood. Famous for its appearances throughout the Bible, the actual site of Babylon existed in what is now Iraq, about 50 miles south of Baghdad. In addition to its enormous size, it surpasses in splendor any city of the known world. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote in the 5th century BC.
Wow.
So this is an old city. This is an old city. After being conquered by the Persians and then the Greeks, Babylon eventually fell into ruins and was covered by the desert.
Oh, man.
So the desert, like, completely covered up an entire city.
So they got some secrets. So this is, like, the sandy version of, like, Atlantis. Because Atlantis was, like, underwater, but this was, like, sand.
Yeah.
Which, like, I feel like, I don't know if sand would be worse. I'm like, how would you even get that off? Like, water, you could try to, like, retrieve stuff. Like, sure, it might be rusted and, like, decayed. But, like, how do you get the desert off a place, you know?
That's just a lot of sand. Like, you need, like, a giant blow dryer or something. Just like...
Yeah, I just feel like that'd be so complicated to uncover, but... Dig sites, I guess.
So, German archaeologist Robert Koldewey excavated the city in 1899, but European travelers had seen it for at least a century before that. So again, we have like another
rediscovery.
People like already knew about this existing, but somebody like decided to go, hey, does the rest of the world know about this?
Do they know yet?
This seems important to know.
Well, I think that's also why it's important that these cities are uncovered in the first place. Because imagine how much is just going undiscovered. Like, imagine there's, like, an old journal. And it has all these entries about, like, these people lived here. And we, like, the Wari. Like, imagine there was, like, some journal that was like, yeah, the Wari people lived here. This is how they lived. And, like, we somehow uncovered that journal. And now we know those people exist. But, like, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's just, like, a big, like, open secret still. It's crazy. So, today, archaeologists believe that the biblical Tower of Babel may have actually been the temple to the Babylonian god Marduk.
Ooh.
So I have heard that before, that Babylon is the Tower of Babel. I've heard of that idea. I just think
at the beginning of Godspell. It's Babel, Babel, Tower of Babel. Yeah.
But it's not clear if the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which we've talked about before, actually existed in Babylon, as no real evidence for them has been found there. So they're not sure, like, where, like, if this is the same thing or not.
Okay.
Which I think is very interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to know more about this temple at some point.
So, Iraq ruler Saddam Hussein attempted to reconstruct parts of Babylon, and further military occupation damaged the ancient site. But today's archaeologists are hoping to better preserve it.
Okay, so people are trying to preserve it then. But
yeah, so he tried restructuring it. They just broke more stuff, and they're hoping to, like, save more stuff. So there's not a lot known about Babylon yet, but it's very interesting. It's like, it's kind of like Atlantis in that way, I think. Just like it's like an idea.
Okay, my question is, it talked about the Hanging Gardens. This might be a stupid question, but I honestly don't think I ever learned about it. The Hanging Gardens, do they actually exist? Are they still there is, I guess, the question.
From what we talked about, I think in the 7 Ancient Wonders episode, I think
I can't remember.
They did exist, at least like from the history books. Like like there's a lot of art depicting like the Hanging Gardens, like were a real thing in the area. Do
they still exist? Or are they lost still?
No, they're Ancient Wonders, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I know like gone. Some of those like physical places you can still like go to, but I'm like, do they have like a place on the map that they're like, yeah, that's where it was? Like,
yeah, I think like when we did the Ancient Wonders episode, mostly the point of that one was most of them are like gone.
Which is so sad. I'm like, I want to go see them.
Like we did like the burning of the Lighthouse of Alexandria or something, the library.
Oh, the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, that one as well. So, yeah.
Interesting.
All right, we're going over to Greece, Mama.
Yes.
So we're in Hellenic Greece. While Atlantis itself might be fictional, it's possible that Plato was inspired by real-life incidents like that of ancient Greek city of Hellenic, which is described in ancient texts as being hit by a tsunami after an earthquake and sinking into the water.
That's a hot mess. Ooh.
Isn't that interesting to think that like this
city just
could have
like
been what Atlantis was?
That is kind of crazy.
Ooh. So for many years, researchers searched, believing the city to be in the ocean, but they hit a dead end until Dora Katsanulopoulos had an idea. What if the ancient description of the tragedy could refer to an inland lagoon?
Ooh, okay. Inland lagoon. Very Peter Pan.
Very. The researchers then had to study the changed geography of the region because in the modern day, there were no lagoons in the area where Hellenic was believed to be. Finally, in 2001, they found the city. Although the ruins aren't as grand as some others we've seen, they sure have one of the most captivating stories behind their discovery.
Ooh, that's so fun.
So I think we talked about that in the Atlantis episode a little bit. The whole idea of like, are you guys looking in the right place?
Do you even know what you're looking for in the right place? Come on now.
Yeah. Let's see what it's looking like. Yeah, so not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot going on
here.
She's
looking musty and dusty. She's got some deep little wells in her.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole idea though of like this could have been what inspired Atlantis? Like the beautiful idea that people had of like this utopian city that was destroyed.
I think I can definitely believe it, like being inspiration, or like maybe this is just Atlantis. Like I could definitely picture this in like the ancient text saying like it was hit by a tsunami.
An earthquake. What was it? An earthquake, then a tsunami. Yeah.
And then into the water. I just feel like that would make sense to me. And like I could definitely visualize it better.
Yeah, it's a very interesting visual. I like that. I love that it's real. I love that it like actually happened. Yeah. It's so crazy how many like natural disasters have made these cities lost.
No, they quite literally. And I feel like we wouldn't have that issue as much now in modern times, but like since this is from times that like there wasn't ways to like document it like on like a server, like the internet.
Yeah, it's
like,
true.
I feel like it's very different now because we have much more ability to like put these things down on paper, but like back then it was like, well, here's this one map.
Right.
That map is now
good luck.
Does not exist, so good luck finding anything about this.
Yeah, I bet it took them a while to like say where like most of these things were then when they rediscovered it, like 1899, like when they rediscovered like the area in like Babylon and stuff. It's like how do you let everybody know? Do you like send a letter?
Send a letter. Imagine you're someone who like makes maps and like you keep traveling and making like copies of the maps, and then like the whole city just like disappears and you're like, God, again, like I just made a map, but like it's only one copy, and like the poor guy is literally losing his maps.
They like rediscover it and they're like, no, I just added nothing there and I can't.
I just made the map for that. Now the city's underwater.
I just added really pretty clip art to the mountains there. I don't want to add it.
In BC. I added some clip
like
art.
Some paint.
But like, God, that would suck. Like,
I know.
They just have to keep making the maps.
That would be terrible, actually.
Or like he has like dementia. He's like in his old age and like now he can't remember any of the places and he lost his maps. God, that's so sad.
That's so funny. All right, you ready for the next city?
I am.
All right, we're going to Petra, Jordan. So, Petra looks like a movie set. So it's no surprise that it was featured as the lost temple that hid the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Ooh.
In reality, the ancient Rose City, carved directly into red, tinged sandstone rock, thrived for centuries until its gradual abandonment when the Romans took over and changed the trade roads. Yeah, so this is like a real place that they used like on location for like Indiana Jones and stuff, which I think is like beautiful. Really cool.
Red tinged. So it was like abandoned after they filmed this movie, or this movie set was based off of this?
I believe they were actually like, let me double check. It looks like a movie set.
Oh, okay,
so it was featured in the Lost Temple.
Okay.
So it just like look at this. This is like beautiful.
It's so pretty.
Like the pillars are like super like extravagant. It just looks like literally like a temple. I think that's the best way to describe
temple, like castle vibes, like built into the stone and ooh, yeah, I want to see
if it was actually there. If they actually went there.
They might have just like did a recreation of it, but maybe they physically went there. And
it looks like they physically went there. It looks
interesting.
They probably filmed outside because it looks like.
I wouldn't want to go in personally. What if it falls on you and now you're dead?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so it looks like they did film it for exterior shots.
On site. That's so beautiful.
So that they probably had to match like what the inside looked like in it.
Okay.
No One Kill Me. I've never seen Indiana Jones. I've only seen
the first one. First two. Well, first two. I've seen the first two. Wait, what were we gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say you saw the live action one at Disney World. The one where they they have a live action one where he like goes like get the thing and like a giant ball rolls and like crushes him.
No,
it's really cool.
I haven't had that or seen that, but I used to have the app that it's the whip sound, and then it would play like the theme song.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a fun little bit.
So yeah, they definitely filmed there. It looks like this shot.
Yeah, that looks
from it too. Yeah,
unless they have a really good production designer that was like, I'm gonna build the whole thing.
Build the whole thing is crazy.
I'm gonna build the whole thing. They did it. I can't see. He said, I'll try.
That's crazy. So, this was also closely guarded by local people. This city. Europeans did not know of its whereabouts until a Swiss explorer, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, visited there in 1812, hiding his identity as a Westerner and pretending to be on a pilgrimage. Here are the remains of an ancient city where I conjecture to be Pietra, a place which, as far as I know, no European traveler has ever visited, he wrote.
Maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah, why is he going undercover? Why is he like a cartoon villain?
Yeah, he's being so shady about it. Tell them what you're there for. He definitely is giving like villain vibes.
For sure. It's giving Indiana Jones villain actually a little bit.
For real, just tell the local people what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna hide my identity.
Yeah, I mean it's a really cool site, but it's also like, girl, let the people have what they want.
Either way, you're still white. You're still the villain. Chill out. Like
it's true. You're right.
Villain enough. You're a villain enough. Be open about it at least. Like, come on.
It's true. So, the site didn't hold the Holy Grail as in the movie, nor did it fulfill rumors of treasure. One building nicknamed the Treasury was actually a tomb and contained no riches, but it was still a miraculous find that even Burckhardt did go there under false pretenses. Today, discoveries are still being made there. In 2016, new satellite scans revealed a huge monumental platform hiding in plain sight inside.
Ooh.
Petra is also one of the 35 most beautiful man-made structures in the world.
Wow. I feel like them saying, like, there's this place called the Treasury, but they have, like, people, like, buried in there or, like, using that as, like, their tomb. I feel like them saying, yeah, it's not actual treasure. I'm like, okay, maybe the people are the treasure. And you're calling them what?
It's true. Oh, they're just people.
Oh, they're not treasure.
Oh, boo.
They're just dead.
It's boring.
Like, come on, so rude. Also, like, what if it's, like, a mummy situation where they have, like, the riches in there somewhere? Like,
I think it's
a little further.
I think it's very interesting, like, we were talking about the, like, different excavations they were doing. I think it's really cool that that the satellites are still like uncovering things like now. For where I got this research, the article was as recent as like 2023, so I think they're still uncovering things.
Okay.
But the most recent was that 2016 thing they found with the platform hiding in plain sight inside. Like I think that's so interesting.
That is so cool. I I hope there's an actual treasure
Yeah.
there somewhere. I mean, I don't want them to find it, but like, because I don't want them to like disturb the location, but also like, is there treasure?
I love the idea of like maybe there's like more inside. Like I've always loved the idea of like you walk in somewhere and it's like its own little city.
Yeah.
Like away from everything else. I think that's so cool to me.
Yeah, its own little city, or like I can just imagine like a room full of riches. Like I picture like Aladdin mixed with what's that movie with Nicolas Cage?
National Treasure.
National Treasure.
Oh,
the second one where they find all the riches at the end, and that when they're like in that. I don't know what that's technically called. That like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Of.
Yeah, I forgot how cool I thought that was as a kid.
The second one is so good.
The second one's cool.
The first National Treasure is just fine, but
that's
second one, the Secrets.
Is that when they steal the Declaration of Independence?
I think they. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
I don't remember if it was the first. Honestly, the first one kind of gets blurry for me because I love the second one. But,
really?
Yeah. The Book of Secrets, 10 out of 10.
All right, we're on to the next city.
Sorry, I got a sneak peek of which one it is. Oh my gosh.
It's El Dorado.
El Dorado. I loved this movie growing up.
So, there's a nugget of truth in the story of the legendary South American city of gold called El Dorado.
Yay.
In fact, El Dorado might not have been a city at all, but a tradition of the indigenous Muisca people of Colombia. The Spanish invaders heard of a ceremony in which the incoming Muisca leader would dust himself with gold, float out on a lake on a raft, and then throw gold and jewels into the water as an offering to the gods.
Interesting.
So it's
kinda
already
cool, kind of scary.
Very, very lavish, though.
Yes.
Very like rich.
I'm just picturing dust yourself with gold. Like I know they mean just like he's throwing this, but I'm like picturing he's like gold and shimmery, like.
Yeah.
Like glitter gold all over.
But dust himself with gold. Like maybe they have like a brush and they
I'm gonna paint you.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Just like a little glitter moment.
Good luck getting it off though in olden times.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. He
nothing.
probably jumped in the water after.
Oh, you're so right. And now they really got all the gold.
So, the Spanish, of course, started looking for this gold. And somehow the story of this treasure grew into an entire city of gold.
Ooh.
So it like basically there was all these riches that were just like in the bottom of like this water that they were offering to their gods. So it made this whole idea of like there's this lost treasure that's huge and like really important. So people thought it was like an entire city.
Interesting. I wonder like what their process was to like go find this. Like are they getting like scuba gear and like zooming on down to the bottom of the water to see if they can find it? Like, but also this is like olden times. What kind of scuba gear we got in the olden days? Like,
it's true.
You're gonna drown.
Well, British explorer Sir Walter Raleigh conducted 2 ill-fated expeditions to try to find El Dorado around 1600. The second of which unfortunately ended in the death of his son in a skirmish with the Spanish. It's very interesting because that kind of goes with like the movie of El Dorado a little bit too. I just think it's very interesting.
I never actually realized how much I don't know about El Dorado. Like, I literally just know the movie. But
yeah, I mean, there's not really any, like, pictures of it. Like, there's just, like, an idea of, like, gold and things there. It seems like there's not much to it. I think it's very interesting that it's, like, this concept more than anything else.
Yeah. Also, The Road to El Dorado definitely isn't a kid's movie, right? I feel like it's definitely like PG-13 and up.
It's a little up there.
I remember it being a little risque.
Yeah.
And, like, not children.
Let's look right now.
Let's look at that rating. PG-13.
Wait, movie PG.
PG!
I mean, it was a different time. They could get away with a little bit more then, too.
I don't know. I feel like I rewatched it within the past, like, 2 years, and I was like, wow. They just be saying stuff, huh? Like...
It came out in 2000. That's crazy.
It's a musical?
It's kind of a musical. There's music in it.
I mean, music and everything.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We're on to Patiti. So, the Amazon has also lured explorers with tales of magnificent cities hidden within. British adventurer Percy Fawcett disappeared there in 1925 while searching for one he called the Lost City of Z.
Ooh, that's so mysterious.
I know, very cool.
He's on his journey and he's British and he's disappeared.
And the Lost City of Z.
The Lost City of Z.
I'm trying to hear like a British person saying, "Oh, have you seen the lost city of Zay?"
You've seen the lost city of Zay. I'm Australian now, actually. You're like really struggling.
I'm trying to go down under.
Well, Australia?
Yeah.
Australia. I mix those accents often.
I flip them sometimes. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, now I can't do it, so I'm going to stop talking.
But I've been British people a few times in high school, like for roles, so.
Oh, good for you.
Not right now. But.
I used to watch Australian tennis, so that's kind of... Oh. So I would listen to the way they talked and copy it.
So another that may or may not have been found is the legendary Patiti, which may have been the same one Fawcett was looking for, and which also shares similarities with stories of El Dorado. Ooh. In addition to Fawcett, the search for Patiti has claimed the lives of many explorers who went looking for it, but it may be a real place. In 2001, an Italian archaeologist found a report hidden in the Vatican archives. Ooh. From a 17th century missionary who came across a wealthy city the indigenous people called Batiti.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This gave credence to the legend, and modern archaeologists have been looking for it since. Satellite imagery from 2012 located what appears to be a man-made square mountain in the region, and expeditions through the difficult rainforest terrain are in the works to explore the area further.
That's so cool.
They still haven't found it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, someone did at some point, but they didn't get to document nothing of it.
So it's another, we're going to have to rediscover.
Let's go rediscover.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This is Mesa Verde, Colorado.
Ooh.
So, yet another legendary city of gold. Cibola sent Francisco Vázquez de Coronado on a fruitless quest across America West in the 1540s. But although it wasn't made of gold, Mesa Verde was a magnificent real-life lost city hidden in the rocks. Rediscovered in 1888 by cowboy brothers looking for stray cattle.
Yeehaw! How
freaking haw.
Ooh.
Although some white people may have been there before, these brothers are genuinely credited for the find. The home of ancestral Pueblo people for 700 years. Mesa Verde was abandoned in the 1200s as the people migrated to different areas. First excavated as an archaeological site in 1909, Mesa Verde is now a national park.
Ooh, okay.
In 2019, some artifacts taken from the site by a Swedish researcher in the 1890s and displayed in a museum in Finland were repatriated to Native American tribes associated with the site. Mesa Verde is one of the most historic landmarks in the United States.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
I love that, America had some, the United States had, a little hidden city.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, I've seen this before,
beautiful.
too. Yeah. So it's, hidden in between, these rocks, and there's just,
it looks like a little sandwich.
Yeah.
With little buildings in it.
It's gorgeous.
Aww.
I would love to go there.
I want to make that out of clay.
I know. I want to go there and do, a little castle fort or something.
Where is it, Colorado?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
How far is that from here?
I mean, pretty far, but closer than Peru.
From Pittsburgh, PA. It's true. How far? 26-hour drive. We can do it.
Oh, I've been in rides that long.
Me too.
Alright, so.
If we walked, it would be 623 hours.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
How many days is that?
I don't know.
Logan, come on, math it up.
I can't.
Math it through.
But yeah, this place is freaking gorgeous.
I want to go.
I know. I think it's so cool that this is here. We can go to this.
I know.
That's
also,
crazy.
Those little dips in the ground kind of look like swimming pools.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the little pools.
Wow. Oh yeah, they do. They look like little pools that you could swim in. They might also be big pits.
Yeah.
They can fall into, you know.
They can live in there if they want. They can chill.
It's true.
It's a sitting pit.
All right, we're on to the next case.
Alrighty.
All right, so this is Thonis-Heracleion in Egypt.
Ooh.
So this is a real-life lost city found beneath the sea.
Ooh, underwater, my favorite.
So the ancient Egyptian port of Thonos, also known by its Greek name Heracleion, which was originally thought to be a different city, It sank into the Mediterranean near the mouth of the Nile over 1,500 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it sunk into, like, the Nile. It's
into
crazy.
The water.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So likely after a flood, taking with it a huge 16-foot statues of Pharaoh Ptolemy II, his queen, and the god Hathor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it took down like a bunch of structures with it.
Oh my gosh, and like these statues. That reminds me of that statue we talked about in the one case of that man. Who was naked, that naked man.
I think that's a part of this. Is that part of the Seven Wonders?
I don't
Something
remember.
like that. I remember what you're talking about. Who's crazy because it was like between his legs. His butt was out. His legs were in between two different docks, and boats come through it. That was crazy.
That's they get to see it all.
That was so funny. I love that one.
Oh my gosh.
The city was mentioned in classical texts, including those of the historian Herodotus, and Helen of Troy was even said to have made a visit there.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Yeah. But after the city disappeared below the waves, no one knew where it was.
Oh, man.
So, a British Air Force pilot thought he spotted a sunken city in the location in 1933, which led to a new exploration of the area. Which I think that's just so interesting, is like, how do you like explore the waters then in like the 1930s? I think that's so interesting.
I mean, it just depends. Like, was he just like flying above it and like documenting like what he was spotting? So it was like, depends like what type of exploration.
There might be like remnants of the area or something too, right?
Yeah, like stuff like debris on land that he ended up like coming through, but like I don't know. I guess like from that high up you probably could see some stuff depending on how clear the water was.
Yeah, it's true. Well, almost 70 years later, Frank Gaudio found it in 2000 after searching for years. Because the site is so new, there's still not a lot more to explore at the moment, but in 2019, researchers found a previously unseen temple there, along with jewelry and coins.
Ooh.
It's one of the most incredible undersea treasures that has ever been discovered.
That's so cool.
Isn't it?
I'd be so curious to see like how the jewelry has held up.
Yeah, maybe let's try to take a look. Let's see if
look up some of the
treasure.
Treasure.
I sound like a pirate.
What you are.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, it stayed pretty nice. I mean, they probably cleaned it up a little.
They definitely cleaned it up and, like, satellited.
Wow.
Satellite.
They satellited it.
They satellited that.
They cleaned that up with sand and whatnot.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so pretty.
It's very nice. It's just, like, cool jewelry, like, and little artifacts. I don't know how to describe it. One. Me too. That's, like, the iris. It's really cool.
It's beautiful.
I think it's so interesting that, like, Egypt has all of this lore and, like, ancient stuff happening there, but there's still like a lot.
It's also like modern.
Yeah.
I think Sam, my one friend, just went to Egypt, or maybe she's still there.
What?
There's like a Disney or something over there. I don't know.
There's a Disney in Egypt?
Something Disney
that can't
related.
Be right.
Look it up.
What?
Because she
Disney,
just posted. I keep
Egypt?
going to look at my phone to show you, but it's
not Disney Egypt movie.
Disney Egypt movie. I think there's like some sort of Disney adventure, maybe Adventure by Disney. I don't think it's a Disney park, but like
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to go to Egypt.
I'm like, that'd be so beautiful to see in modern day.
I just think it's so interesting, like how much like rich history's there, and like they found like this new city that was like under the water for so long.
That's crazy.
And people thought it was two different cities too, and then they were both the same.
They were like, hold up, I think this is the same thing. Also, it's kind of crazy to picture Egypt like modern. Like I picture it just like looking a very specific way. So when I see like lights there, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, that's like what is it like in like Goosebumps, like the Curse of the Mummy and stuff. It's really cool. That's like modern day like Egypt and stuff. Yeah. I love that book.
Oh, it's so good. Did you watch the new Goosebumps yet? Have you started it?
I did. I watched it.
It's like kind of good.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Went into it not expecting much because I didn't like the other Goosebumps they had made. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to like it. And so I started it and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I ended up liking it.
Yeah, it does. It has Ross from Friends, right?
Ross from Friends, yeah. I respected like the structure and how they went about making the show.
I agree. I like that it was more like plot heavy.
And like I don't want to like ruin it for anyone, but like a new imagining of these stories.
They still did the books basically, like the idea of the monster or thing. It was cool.
Good take.
Much better.
Recommend.
Definitely watch.
Yes.
I was surprised they got a second season after about the first.
I know. That's why I was like, I have not I don't have high hopes for this.
Right.
Good work.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I am.
We got 2 more.
2 more.
All right. So, this is Troy, Turkey. So, speaking of the legendary beauty, Helen of Troy, the city and possibly the war named after it was real, and not just a story told in Homer's ancient Greek poem, the Iliad. Centuries after the city's decline and gradual abandonment, the site was believed to be in northwest Turkey, near the Aegean Sea, but no one could agree on exactly where. I think it's very interesting. A lot of these city things are like, it's that region.
It's there. Actually, no, it's there.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like, I mean, we said it, they're not documenting too well back then.
No,
so
they
I feel like
not.
there's a lot of people fighting over their information.
It's true.
It's like, well, no, we have this. No, we have this. You're wrong.
Yeah. So in the 19th century, a series of expeditions set out to find it. And German amateur archaeologist Henrik Schlossmann probably did in the 1870s on a hill called Hasarik. The hill actually contains layers of many cities built over thousands of years, which likely included the one described in the Iliad. Except the archaeologist removed that layer during his excavations.
Oh, this place is definitely haunted. There's quite literally no way it's not haunted.
Layers on layers of a city is such a crazy idea to think about.
That is crazy. It's like cool, but like really messed up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The ruins of Homer's Troy were thought to be lost forever until the 1990s when archaeologist Manfred Korman found more of it as the city was much larger than previously believed. As for the Trojan War, archaeologists have found some evidence of a battle, but it's still not clear if it's from that Trojan War and the Trojan horse. It remains in the realm of myth.
More mystery.
More mystery. See, I kind of want to like take a look at the layers of city.
Layers of city.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Ew.
Do you see that?
That's cool and strange.
So there's like, it's like a graph of like the different layers of like
all the different
what
places.
used to be there each time.
Ooh.
That's so interesting.
Can you imagine? See, this would have been perfect for you as a kid because you could have just like dug in your backyard and like found.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, give me a couple days, Grandma, I'll make it, and you start digging down.
You're like, there's a city in our backyard, and my mom's like, no, that's not true.
Logan.
Like, sure.
All right, get some help.
You can even tell in like these pictures that there's like other cities.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I think it's so funny that like they found it and he was excavating it and he maybe got rid of the city he was looking for.
Oh my
like trying to dig. It's so crazy to me.
Like I feel like that'd even be hard to discover because I'm like eventually it would just be like, okay, what are just like rocks and like the stones would get mixed up. I don't know.
Well, that's definitely what it is. It's like it's so interesting that multiple people kept building and rebuilding there for like over thousands of years. That's like if our city kept getting
I was just
rebuilded.
gonna say, imagine people just keep doing that in Pittsburgh. And
isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's nuts to think about.
It's so cool. All right, we're on to the last city.
All right, ready? I'm ready.
Of course, we got to talk about Camelot.
Not gonna lie, don't know a lot about this case.
But you came to learn about a lot. About
You're
Camelot.
so right. That was trippy. Good job.
Thank you. I do comedy on the side, if you didn't know. All right, so the legend of King Arthur in Camelot reveals how the line between myth and history can be blurred. Arthur first shows up in poems, stories, and songs dating from around 800 AD. And several sites around the British Isles linked to the tales do have archaeological evidence of old castles and settlements, but nothing to connect them directly to the mythical king or prove the site is Camelot. For example, Tintagel Castle in Cornwall was said to be the birthplace of Arthur, according to a medieval writer of fictional Arthurian tales. And although artifacts have been discovered at Tintagel, it's still a conjecture. Winchester Castle in Hampshire displays King Arthur's authentic round table, except it's from around 1300, way after Arthur supposedly lived. As lovely as it would be to think Camelot is real, it's probably not.
I want it to be real. I say it's real just for the bit. Also, I remember, I read this book. I guess I do remember a little bit about Camelot. Mm-hmm. I remember reading this math book that was called Circumference and the Round Table.
Uh-huh.
And it was like
what?
basically, it was called Circumference because it's like a circle. But like I was like, that's so cute and fun. That was the only time I was like, wow, math can be fun. Circumference and the Round Table.
Oh my god.
So that's like the only association I have with that. But I do want to believe that it's real though.
Really?
Know. Yeah, just for fun.
I think it's fun to say. I don't know where they would put it in the UK.
Yeah.
Like where it was. Mm-hmm. But I like to believe maybe it's mystical. Maybe it's under the water somewhere.
Yeah,
who knows?
Maybe she's underground. We don't know.
Exactly.
What do we know, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
You know what? We're going to do one more. How's that sound?
Yay! That sounds good to me.
All right, the real last one. We're going to do Xanadu, China.
Like the musical?
Kinda.
Really?
That's what I thought when I read it.
Xanadu.
So, the mystical city of Xanadu is another case of fact and fiction mingling together. The idea of a city of pleasure called Xanadu comes from the 1816 poem Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who was inspired by an account of the explorer Marco Polo's visit to the real-life Xanadu in China. Coleridge wrote, "In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree. The grandson of Mongol leader Genghis Khan, Kubla," note the spelling difference from Coleridge's poem, "Khan did exist, and he did build a summer capital called Xanadu."
Another summer capital.
Another summer place.
For people to go in the summer. Okay.
I love the fact that maybe some of these cities are just like summer homes. It's so funny.
They're just so well off that they're like, no, we have a summer place too.
But it's supposed to be for play and pleasure, so.
Yeah, they're getting it.
Or more properly, Chengdu. In the 13th century, 200 years later, it was abandoned after the fall of the dynasty. Largely forgotten for centuries, the site was recorded by British travelers in the 19th century, but it wasn't excavated until the 1990s.
Okay, she was in there for a while.
I know. Archaeologists are still uncovering awesome finds like brightly painted dragon heads in Xanadu.
Whoa, that's so cool. Let's
look them up.
Let me see, please.
Painted dragon heads.
Xanadu. Let's see. Whoa.
They're
so cool.
These are beautiful.
Aww.
This is cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that.
Aww.
Let's look it up. Xanadu, China.
Xanadu.
Yeah, okay. So just like a summer place like to live. I think it's so interesting how like it completely like changes, you know? Mm-hmm. It's so interesting, like just having like summer homes and things.
Yeah, some of these places are also like reminding me of the Earth Kingdom and Avatar.
They are. They sure are, right?
Like, I could just imagine, like, I'm gonna go, like, sledding down, like, the side of one of these, like, structures.
I agree.
That's so cool.
So, what was your favorite of the cities?
Oh, give me a recap. Let's look through.
Okay, so...
I need to see them all again.
You got a lot of choices.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
You got Machu Picchu.
Okay.
We talked about Vilcabamba in Peru.
Yes.
We talked about Babylon, Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Halik, Greece.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Petra, Jordan. That was the one from Indiana Jones.
Yes.
El Dorado.
Interesting.
Patiti.
Mm-hmm.
Mesa Verde, Colorado. Thonis-Heracleion,
Is that
Egypt.
the layer one? What was the layer one? Layers of city.
This was the one that was like underneath the water.
Okay.
In Egypt, and they found ancient treasures there.
Oh.
And then with Camelot.
I think of all of these so far, I think I'm mostly gravitating towards. I don't know. I think I want to go to El Dorado.
I think El Dorado would be very fun.
Then I would also like to explore the one from Indiana Jones, even though I don't know.
Petrie?
I don't know if I'm allowed in there, but I still want to try. And then I think Camelot.
Camelot's a good one.
Camelot. I think I'm just curious to see like what the vibe is over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of wonder like how like it like would look like as a city. Let's see if anyone's ever made a mock-up.
I'm just picturing like big castle, like
giant,
like mystical castle.
Very Shrek. Very
exactly. So I think those 3, and then I just hope Camelot's like truly real. I mean, I know it has some, but like, what if?
I think I agree with you on the El Dorado thing. I love the idea of the treasures like coming in and like doing all that. I think that's really cool how it's like expanded. Like maybe they made a lost city underneath there. Who's to say? And I think actually one of my favorites. I really like Mesa Verde, Colorado. I think it's just crazy we have that here in the States. Like, and the architecture there is so cool, and I love that they turned it into a national park so people can like go see it. I think that's really cool.
That's so special. I'm wondering how far it is from like the airport in Colorado. Isn't that
Denver?
Yeah, the
Denver airport. Yeah, we can do a double whammy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
double
saying.
case.
We can go to
It's
the
true.
Denver airport and then also go there. How fun!
All right, but we're gonna get into the conclusion.
Yes, I also want to go to Egypt.
Egypt?
Like, I want to see that site too.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Site, because then I could see all the different things they found.
It's true.
But yeah,
that'd be fun. Yeah, I like the little artifacts that were there.
The jewelry.
So, these ancient places, once thriving hubs of culture, trade, and innovation, remind us how civilizations rise and fall and sometimes remain hidden for centuries. Whether lost to war, natural disasters, or simply the passage of time, their rediscovery offers an incredible glimpse into the past. But beyond the ruins and artifacts, these cities tell human stories of ambition, resilience, and mystery. And who knows? There may still be legendary cities out there, waiting to be uncovered. But I guess for now, what truly happened to most of these lost cities will forever remain a mystery. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes, thank you guys.
And listening.
Listening. All of the above.
Listening, watching.
You're doing it all.
Please follow us on the Instagram at the Mystery Files _ and on the TikTok.
Mystery Files Podcast.
Exactly.
Yes.
And please rate us 5 stars on any streaming platform. Give us a like, a subscribe, a follow. Everything helps.
Yes,
it
a comment.
Really does. A comment.
We want to know we're like speaking to real people.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Let us know what your favorite lost city we talked about was.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Are there any you're like, that's definitely not real? Or are there ones that you're like, that's definitely real? Like, I need to know your...
Or if there's something we missed when we were talking about it, because we ran through quite a few. So if you have any more information, we would love to know.
Yes. If we lost one of the lost cities.
If we lost one of the lost cities,
Let us know. Yeah.
But for now, we will see you guys next time for Tiffany's case.
We'll see you then for my case.
Oh.
But yes.
Goodbye.